Hi, Jenny here. The weather has turned cooler and it's still fall, so it's still kind of pumpkin season. So this is the perfect time to make some pumpkin soup. Well, let's get started. For this recipe, we are going to need 2 tablespoons of butter, half a cup of chopped onions, 1 tablespoon of flour, 4 cups of chicken broth, 1 can of pumpkin, 1 teaspoon of brown sugar, 1 cup of whipping cream, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and salt and pepper to taste. In a stock pot, a soup pot, over medium-low heat, we are going to go ahead and melt that butter and then cook our onions until they're translucent, so a little bit see-through. That will go fairly quickly. I was thought about I could have like a top-down camera, but then it would always be in shot. The only type of camera I have is another one kind of like what I have. So I'll go to a certain point and probably bring you guys along, show you what it looks like, as I usually do. One of these days maybe I'll figure out something. But pretty easy, first steps anyways, with getting that butter melted, cooking your onions. The recipe did not call for an immersion blender, so that pretty much means that the onions that you have in here are going to stay as that size. So it's up to you then as to what size you want to cut them in the first place, if you want to mince it more or just have them be bigger. Or in the end you can try an immersion blender and see if you like that, if that would help break the onions down a little bit. I've never had pumpkin soup before. Again, I think I mentioned that I have this Halloween cookbook, The Taste of Home. This over here. So I had the pumpkin trail mix recipe was out of there. And again, I thought I wanted to make more recipes out of this cookbook. So Halloween party favorites. And I was looking through there as far as I thought maybe there was a carrot soup. I don't think I got that far. I went in a few pages and saw the pumpkin soup and thought, well, that looks good. I like all of these ingredients, so combining them, I'm assuming, is going to be pretty tasty. Have you made pumpkin soup before? I have a friend that makes squash soup often. So when we'd have some of our gatherings, it would be a potluck type thing, and we'd bring something to share, she would bring squash soup. And I never got around to trying that. There was always so much other good food. I'd do that and then I'd be full. And at that point in time, I was just kind of like, real squash soup? I don't know. Now I'm at the point of, oh yeah, I like squash. I like making different things with the squash, roasting it, baking it. So cutting it up in the chunks and combining it with other things. So now I'm at the point of, I'll try squash soup. So today we're going to try pumpkin soup. I just had pumpkin pie this weekend. That was really good. My girlfriend had a baby shower for her daughter, and she made some pies. So she made apple and pear and a berry pie. The pumpkin pie she bought from the store, I was kind of like, oh, well, I was hoping you would have made pumpkin pie too. That I thought, oh, I'll have pies and that. I'm not much of a pie person, but again, it was homemade. So I thought, all right, well, I'll try. And I had that. I'd never heard of pear pie. She said no either, but her son likes pears. So she thought, why not? We'll try pear pie. Okay, when the onions are mostly cooked, we're going to go ahead and add that flour and get that all well mixed in there. Cover the onions. This is the stuff that I do too when I make my potato soup. Put the flour in there. And that's well mixed. We're going to go ahead and add that brown sugar. And I'll get that stirred in there. add the broth. Slowly add that so it doesn't splash up at you. I had my daughter help with making my potato soup this weekend. I had some tooth work done, and so I needed something soft to be able to eat, so I made my creamy potato soup. And I made 2 batches, so one for my mom and one for me, pretty much. I think my husband did have a bowl. He usually eats the stuff too, but he also knew that was for me, so he was kind of like, well, he didn't want to take it away from me. But I had my daughter helping, and I was like, because she came in, she was like, you need help, Mom? And I was like, well, I'm like, yes, sure. So while I was adding the flour to the one pot and then I added it to the second, I'm like, okay, so I could hurry up and not let anything burn or anything. I'm like, could you grab the broth and start pouring it in? And she did, and it was splashing. I'm like, oh yeah. You have to be a little careful with that. Go slowly. All right. So we have the broth in there. We're going to turn up the heat because we are going to eventually want this to boil. We'll get that going while we continue adding. Oh, let's see if I use this. Will this fit in here? We'll add the pumpkin next. We're adding that whole can. I did one year, gosh, way long ago, I cooked my own pumpkin. I think I did a regular one. At that point in time, I didn't realize there was a difference between baking pumpkins and regular pumpkins. I'm like, I don't know, pumpkin's a pumpkin. So I baked a pumpkin. I chopped it all apart in squares, and I cooked it. I forget what I made with it. Maybe I made a pumpkin pie. That was interesting. It went okay. It kind of reminded me of mashed potatoes. You cut it up. Obviously it's a little bit harder than the potatoes as far as trying to get it cut and all that stuff, but so you ever tried that too? Have you ever baked your own pumpkin as opposed to getting it from a can? It's very nice they have it in the can. It makes it easier. I'm going to show you along. Alright, it's just pumpkin-y. Pumpkin colored now. Yeah. We will add our nutmeg, a little bit of salt and pepper. I guess there's not much to show. It's not like vegetables when they're so nice and vibrant, and then as they cook, they get a little bit duller. But it's like you can see the cooking process. This is just stirring up pumpkin. So a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of that nutmeg. We'll bring this to a boil, let it boil for about 5 minutes, and then we'll add the cream. Basically cook that until it's heated through, and then it will be ready to eat. So nice and simple. So like I said, as far as having any ingredients, it's not, again, like potatoes and onions and stuff that you would need an immersion blender to really blend it all smoothly. We have the onions in here, but there's nothing really, I could use even a potato masher to try to mash, or I could put it in my Vitamix and try to make it, again, just the onion smoother, but you're basically just going to have the onions in there, and they're going to be so well cooked, I don't think you'll really be able to tell. So you'll have to let me know if you guys like pumpkin. The pumpkin spice, the pumpkin season. Do you look forward to the pumpkin season? Get the pumpkin lattes, pumpkin pies. That's what we make with pumpkin. The pumpkin made the pumpkin seeds. I'm not much of a latte girl. Water and lemonade. those are my drinks of choice. But I like the pumpkin flavor. I like the different stuff I've been making with pumpkin. Alright, I'll let this boil and then we'll come back. Once this has boiled for 5 minutes, we will go ahead and turn off the heat. And we'll add that cream in. And basically, you want to keep stirring so the cream doesn't settle on the bottom and burn. Cream just makes it so tasty. Made it a shade lighter too. That's all there is to it. Now serve it up, let it cool down so don't burn your tongue. This baby shower, my girlfriend had made her her friendship tea that she's known for, that she makes that. She's handed or given me a couple containers of the mix already mixed so that I could just have my tea. Love it, so delicious. I have recipes here on the channel for that. She had that, and I had a cup while I was having my food, and it was just like, oh, it smelled so good, and it was, you know, it was like thirsty. I'm like, okay, and I took the smallest sip, and I burned the tip of my tongue, and I'm like, oh, man. But it was so good. Once it cooled, that was fantastic. Alrighty, let's get this in a bowl. The pumpkin soup is all finished. Hopefully it's cool enough to eat. We'll find out. But my hand's not burning holding the bowl, so that's a good sign. So let's see what we think. That's good. Very pumpkin-y. I can taste the cream. It makes it very smooth. And that squash family. Get that squash taste in there. So, I like it. I would make it again. I will eat it. This will be a good lunch. Yeah, like I said, fast and easy. No extra steps. You make it all on the pot on the stove. Don't need to do any extra blending or anything to smooth it out. It's a very nice, smooth, creamy soup. So, again, yeah, let me know in the comments about whether you like pumpkin. If you've had pumpkin soup before, if you've made it, squash soup. What do you think? Let me know. I am going to go finish enjoying my lunch. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye. Yummy.